Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Degrassi podcast. It's been a while since what was it, January 13th, I believe, was the last one the last podcast, and now it is July 20th, so it's been several months from the first month of the year all the way to the seventh month of the year. And of course, if you're listening to this, you're already a big fan, and you already know all of the drama, that's an appropriate word, that happened with the show and how it was kind of, people thought it was going to be canceled, and then Netflix brought it back, and just all this stuff. And everyone already knows all that, so there's no need for me to really go into it all and explain it. These are the final episodes right now on TV, but of course, the show is returning next year on Netflix. So that is definitely exciting. And thanks again, Netflix, for saving our show. So let's get into the episode. First up tonight, the two episodes was Watch Out Now. That's the name of it. Some of the big moments, we have a new principal now, Miss Pill. She is very, ready to take charge of a school after all the failures that Mr. Simpson has had over the past several years. Some of the big plots dealt, of course, with Winston, Becky, and Zoe. Overall, it wasn't really my favorite episode. Winston is revealed to be a talented writer of plays slash musician, singer, person, which seems to be everyone's secret talent on the show. Of course, he wants to be the funny one, though, when he does an act that sort of upsets Frankie, and then he ends up kissing Lola, but then Frankie and Winston make up. But Winston does not reveal the kiss, of course, and he decides to sort of give in to Frankie and do the play. So, and that is followed up in the next episode that aired tonight, which I'll get to in just a little bit. Also, we have more with Becky and Jonah, and also Drew. I'm not really sold on the Jonah character. I don't really care for him all that much. Basically, Becky, wants to put on a variety show with Jonah, but Drew denies it because he's jealous. So Becky tries to, quote, be nice, unquote, to get Drew to do what she says, which involves, kind of pulling down her shirt a little bit and kind of exploring a side she's normally not used to. And of course, Drew finds all this out and reports Jonah and Becky to Miss Pill, saying that they were caught kissing when they were not. However, Becky and Jonah get the last laugh as they decide to actually kiss in front of Drew, since they're already in trouble for it anyway. What's the harm? I did like that little touch. And then we have a small plot in the first episode that is much bigger in the second episode. Zoe, of course, in detention after everything with Chat, along with the rest of the squad. Damon's also in there as well, being very annoying, and him and Zoe are sort of playing pranks on each other and all that stuff. But then at the final scene of the episode, it gets a bit shocking. Damon and Zoe walking alone, and they approach each other and start kind of talking, and it seems that Damon might do something to Zoe, and then here comes Tiny and Zig, and then it's this big brawl between Damon, Tiny, and Zig, and then suddenly Damon stabs Tiny, and that is how the episode ends. So, and then we go right into finding out that, Tiny, he is going to be okay, of course. But then this is where all the gang stuff starts coming back here in the second episode of the night, and it starts to get a bit more intense. And in the episode called Ready or Not, in this episode, Zig is upset about Tiny. He takes his anger out on Miles a bit, and then he ends up joining the play that Winston's doing. I thought it was a very awkward addition. It was just so weird. Honestly, I'm kind of sick of all the plays that they have on Degrassi. It's just so, I don't even know how to describe it anymore. I'm not a fan of that at this point. But anyways, at the end, Grace warns Zig that he needs to kind of shut this down because she's been hearing about some retaliation that might be happening from people, in Zig's old gang. And anyways, Zig warns Damon to stay away from the basketball courts where, he hangs out with his group of people that night. And, Zig is feeling pretty good. He thinks he stopped something, but then after he goes out to dinner with Maya and her mother to celebrate his successful audition, it is revealed that someone has broke into Maya's house, and now things are really getting, close to home. So I'm very anxious to see where this storyline is going to go. Also, more with Claire and Eli. They go to a birthing class and blah blah blah. She wants to set boundaries, blah blah blah. And then, of course, as I think everyone expected, they end up kissing when he comes over later, and maybe they did a little bit more than that, and they kind of sort of maybe are getting back together, kind of maybe, but it's not really a surprise because I think everyone saw that coming. And finally, a little more with Winston. He's still keeping the kiss with Lola a secret. And eventually, it all ends up that Frankie wants the two to hang out, Winston and Lola, because Frankie thinks that the reason why Winston does not want Lola to be in the play is because he doesn't like her and they're not really friends. But then Winston and Lola come up with an idea to kind of get Frankie to be the lead of the play, and she still does not know about the kiss yet. So that is the recap here for these first two episodes. Overall, it's decent. I think the most exciting parts for me were during the commercials. I actually didn't, leave uh, the TV because I wanted to see if they were going to show any clips from the upcoming 1 hour, special, the remembering the past with all the old cast members and stuff, and all the things that we've seen, the tweets and Instagram photos and all that stuff about, and there were some nice little moments on there with Stacey Farber and Lauren Collins and all these people. So that was really cool, and it's just really all hitting home that we are at the end, of the television episodes, at least just a few more to go, and then of course that 4-part or 2 hour movie, which is going to be airing shortly after the episode's wrap. So I mean, yeah, it's all coming down to the end, and it's very emotional. But thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and stay tuned for another podcast coming up tomorrow.